So, one thing that I notice as an opportunity zone is the metaverse, right? Right now, people think that the metaverse is just this 3D world that you have to put on this huge VR goggles and to run around in this 3D virtual world and do whatever you do in this 3D world. And I kind of see beyond that. Like, that's the initial use case, and that's the use case everyone is tackling now. And Facebook, their use case is they want people to be able to work in the metaverse and collaborate. Like, someone could be in Alaska, another person could be in Norway, and they collaborate together in this virtual space, which is another use case. And that's an interesting use case as well. I think where the metaverse is really going to be, popular to the point where people will rather go into the metaverse than like log into a website. I think that point is going to be like a community focused kind of building, like a community collaborative space. I think that's what it is. And what I mean by that is that various creators in the metaverse can pretty much build out their world and also allow other users to interface in that world and kind of have different incentives to contribute to that world as well, right? So I think you're too old to know what anime is. Do you know what anime is?
Yes.
Oh, you do? Okay, cool. So there's a genre. My bad. There's a genre of anime called Isekai, right? And Isekai pretty much means like hero from another world. And what that means is like it's a whole genre of anime where a person is from this world, like an animated version, right? And they log into a metaverse, and now they're like they're living in a whole separate world with new rules and monsters and dungeons and stuff like that to slay, and it's completely immersive, right? And I think that is the end goal of the metaverse, and that's the type of metaverse that Medallion XLN wants to build, because we want to build a world where people can be immersed and not even know that it's a separate reality. It kind of just blends together, right? Because, and just expanding on that idea a little bit more, like what's really going to sell that is new ways to interface in the metaverse, right? So the janky, huge VR headsets, like that's only this generation. And generations in the future, like people will be able to blink and then go into the metaverse, right? Like contact lenses, glasses like the ones I'm wearing, like this is the future of how people will be able to interface in the metaverse, right? And that's the type of thing that we want to build. And like what I think is interesting with what's going on with Meta is how, like, I don't want to say aversive they are to blockchain, but blockchain, it comes with a few incentive models, right? That allows creators to actually like commit their time into building this metaverse without having to worry about like how they're going to live and eat and stuff like that. So blockchain kind of solves that problem. So it allows people to, build. And then on top of that, like there's going to be a new advertising model that's going to be interfaced over the metaverse. So people will be able to, in their favorite worlds, go to McDonald's or KFC or whatever the case is and order something from the metaverse McDonald's or restaurant and have that food delivered to their house. I think that's the future of the entire metaverse, as well as like the new e-commerce model, which is, well, it's not new. It's like the same as it is now, only it's going to be more, I feel like there's going to be a magnifying glass on it. And that's going to be like one of the only ways that things run, which is like kind of having these food delivery platforms, deliver your food and deliver your different consumables.
How would it in your mind actually work versus calling DoorDash or having delivered from your favorite pizza place? How do in the metaverse, how do they know exactly who's ordering it and where it's going?
Well, that would be part of the information that you submit that will be attached to your avatar. So your avatar is actually another huge part of the metaverse, right? Because the avatar is a representation of you and your data with that avatar, right? So your avatar is going to keep track of, what your wallet address is, like who you are in that wallet address, like all the money you have, all the different apps that you have access to, and different things like that. But the thing is, you have control over your avatar, right? And you have control over, the information that's present in that avatar, right? So, So when you're ordering like food from KFC in the metaverse, like whatever information you provide as far as like address, if that's available on the avatar, then that's how like that information will be transferred to the metaverse representation of KFC. And then they'll use that information to get you your food, right? And of course, your avatar is the one with the wallet, right? So if you're ordering from KFC, it's going to cost like what, $10 or whatever, however much KFC costs nowadays. So that $10 gets transferred from your avatar to this metaverse representation, and then that food gets delivered, right? I think artificial. So another part on top of that is artificial intelligence. So there's the metaverse, there's blockchain, now there's artificial intelligence. And what artificial intelligence is going to do is going to provide ease of use in the metaverse. So pretty much, let's go back to a person who's creating their own world, right? Like this person might not be artistically, inclined, right? But he has a vision in his mind of how he wants this world to be, how he wants each object in this world to be. And artificial intelligence, such as DALL-E 2 and Google Image, or Imagine, I think it's called, also NVIDIA's artificial intelligence, like all these different artificial intelligence can be used to probably with voice commands or even a description that you type out to render these different 3D objects that the person in the metaverse would use to build out their world, right? So another thing artificial intelligence can do is to automate things, right? So when we build out these different worlds in the metaverse, we might have a train system, right? Subway system that takes you, like your world could be vast and it'll take probably like 20 minutes to go from one end to the other. And your train system can take you to different places of the world in, a minute or maybe 30 seconds, right? So the artificial intelligence is going to be able to validate, or not even validate, artificial intelligence is going to be able to automate these different mechanisms that allow for world traversal. Now, while doing that, these new inventions that are going to be created in the metaverse, they will also be transferred into the real world, right? So pretty much like artificial intelligence is going to allow these different models. So let's say we're training a model for a flying car, right? So it's going to allow these models to be trained in this virtual world, right? And, you know, this virtual world is going to have similar, or some of the virtual worlds are going to have similar properties to traverse the world as our world. So the gravity is going to be, you know, a similar weight of heaviness, like, you know, and the way objects react to their surroundings is going to be similar to the way objects react to surroundings in this world, right? And these artificial intelligence models are going to have a playground to train themselves. So let's say someone creates flying cars, right? We can figure out all the problems with flying cars in the metaverse and what makes them crash and what makes them fly and what makes them, you know, and what kind of AI is going to be needed in order to, you know, traverse Z space and Y space or whatever. And when we do that, we can perfect the flying car AI model in the metaverse before we build it out in the real world. And then by the time we build this flying car model out in the real world, it flies exactly the way it flies in the metaverse, right? So there's so many possibilities when we bring blockchain, artificial intelligence, and the metaverse together into this new like soup. And it's just, this is the future. This is the future of everything, pretty much. Like, this is the new internet. Blockchain, artificial intelligence, and the metaverse. That's the new internet. And that's what Medallion is building towards.